Ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Chief Minister will be arriving shortly. He'll be here any time. So I kindly request you all to be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I request you all to kindly be seated. The Honorable Chief Minister is on his way and he'll be here any time. So I kindly request you all to be seated, maintain silence, and put your mobile phone on silent mode. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu arrives on this auspicious occasion, we cordially welcome you all on behalf of the Government of Tamil Nadu. அனைவருக்கும் மதிய வணக்கம். இவ்விழாவிற்கு வருகை தந்திருக்கும் மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களையும் மாண்புமிகு தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் அவர்களையும் வருக வருக என வரவேற்கிறோம். இந்த விழாவிற்கு வருகை புரிந்திருக்கும் தொழில் நிறுவனங்களின் தலைவர்கள், தலைமை அதிகாரிகள், சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்கள், பத்திரிகை மற்றும் ஊடக நண்பர்களையும் வருக வருக என வரவேற்கிறோம். தமிழகத்தை தொழில் வளர்ச்சியில் சிறந்த மாநிலமாக உருவாக்கும் இந்த சிறப்பு நிகழ்வில் நாம் அனைவரும் சாட்சியாக இருக்கும் இவ்வேளையில் நம்முடைய தொழில்துறை குடும்பத்திற்கு வருகை தந்திருக்கும் புதிய முதலீட்டாளர்களையும் தமிழக தொழில்துறை சார்பாக அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறோம். In our Tamil culture, we strongly believe that our mother language Tamil is the supreme power and invoke her blessings at the beginning of every special occasion. May I now request the guests and dignitaries on and off the dais to rise up for Tamil Thai Varthu.
நீராரும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்மரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியல்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Up next, we have a small video presentation on the first ever official visit of the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Mkn Stalin avargal, to the UAE. Can we have the video, please? May I now request Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman IBPC Dubai, to address the gathering. Sir, may I kindly request you to join this podium, please?
Vanakkam, greetings, salam, and hearty welcome to the distinguished guests from India, and all our dignitaries, excellencies, and distinguished board members in the audience. First of all, I would like to say how happy we are that we have the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu with us, along with the Industries Minister, Mr. Thangam Tennarasu as well. The Chief Minister is Maanbumiggu Thiru Mkn Stalin. Please give a round of applause. I think it's a fitting finale for the Expo 2020 that in the final week, we have the distinguished Chief Minister of the most industrialized state in India. It's also one of the largest economies. It's the second largest economy. But more about it, I'm sure you will be covered in the presentation that will follow soon. But why I repeat that it's a fitting finale is that we will also soon have, in the next few days, the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Economy from India, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, once again. And he's arriving in the context, Chief Minister, of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement that has been signed between India and the UAE. And I think this is a historic breakthrough in the relationship between the two countries, especially in terms of business, trade, commerce, investments, and widening it beyond, which is why it's comprehensive, into intellectual property rights and indeed, the entire freedom that is connected, the competition rights that are important in businesses. And I think these have been cemented in the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, the CEPA, consisting of 888 pages signed in 88 days. So it's a very remarkable breakthrough. And I think we must all anxiously look for the details. And I'm sure there's plenty of details addressing or affecting each of your businesses in a very positive sense, i.e., trade access has been liberalized, tariffs have been reduced across, and almost 90% of the items, goods and services, and investment flows that are happening between the two geographies will be impacted very, very positively and very, very strongly by CEPA. So I think in that context, to see the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and the delegation from Tamil Nadu, the Industries Minister, and his team as well here is very, very appropriate. It's appropriate because I think Tamil Nadu can be an engine for growth, engine for that stupendous growth that will following CEPA, following these wonderful measures that are coming through, and also the significant opportunities for investments, both foreign direct investments, flow, and also portfolio investments into India, and from India to here in terms of actual businesses coming and setting up, because there is a 40% value add provision in the CEPA, which I'm sure businessmen in the audience and exporters and investors in the audience will relate to. And I think this 40% will therefore transform the industrial opportunities as well, in terms of actual last mile production, as it were, in the UAE. And I think these are tremendous changes, very strong, very purposeful changes in the context of which I think the visit of the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and the delegation is very appropriate. So with these few words, I know we have a program ahead of us before lunch and a lot of food for thought. So I will now request the lady to take charge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Honorable Minister of Industries, Mr. Thangam Tennarasu, to felicitate Mr. Yusuf Ali, Chairman and MD of Lulu Group International. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Thiru S. Krishnan, AD Chief Secretary, to felicitate His Excellency Jamal Saif Al Jarwan, Secretary General, the UAE International Investors Council. Thank you, sir. May I now request Ms. Pooja Kulkarni, MD Guidance, to felicitate Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman, IBPC Dubai. Thank you, ma'am. May I now invite His Excellency Jamal Saif Al Jarwan, Secretary General, the UAE International Investors Council, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. Let me start, first of all, by welcoming Honorable Chief Minister Stanley, really joining us this wonderful afternoon and Saturday. And I made sure that such gathering will do justice is to come and greet him and meet him because Tamil Nadu is very important region. Very important region for the UAE investors. Maybe a couple thoughts about whom I represent. I represent a council that has about 18 members, very prominent members, among which Lulu is an active member in the UAE Investor Council. I'm really glad to have him as an active member, Mr. Yusuf Ali. And would like also to welcome the chief ministers today in a dialogue about some of the commercial interest and investment interest from my council members who represent about $1 trillion of investment portfolio. Those 18 members are quite active. Second member that I would like to introduce today as well is Sharaf Group. Mr. Salah Sharaf is with us today. Sharaf Group is very active in India. They have put about $500 million in investment in the infrastructure. They are very strong in the logistics. They have gone to India a long time ago. So we have today, luckily, 2 active members with us as UAE investors, Lulu and Sharaf Group. But we have as well other investors who have put about $20 billion into India market. We have Mubadala. We have other group as well, as I would like to introduce them to you, is DB World. DB World is managing about 6 ports in India. So India for UAE is very important when it comes to investments and entry. CEPA is definitely, which has been recently signed and endorsed by the government of the UAE and the government of India. And the first nation to sign this agreement was India. Soon we will be signing with another country, and we go on. But India does represent great importance. I would like also to say the council that I represent this afternoon in this such gathering, in spite of the huge portfolio under assets under management by the portfolio of these members, we are strongly supported by the chairman of the council, who is the Minister of Economy, Mr. Abdullah bin Tog, who has recently greeted and received Honorable Chief Minister Stanley in his office. Tamil Nadu, I want to say it's very important. One interest I want to flag, Honorable Chief Minister, is the interest of Sharaf Group to invest in Tamil Nadu. They are already operating in Tamil Nadu. They also would like to discuss with you a potential investment in the country. I will end my speech. There is also a strong coordination with Mr. Yusuf Ali that he will lead the delegation to Tamil Nadu very soon. And I'll be joining his delegation. So I will end here. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope this is going to be a very fruitful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Consul General of India in Dubai, His Excellency Dr. Manpuri, to address the gathering. But before that, may I request Ms. Pooja Kulkarni, MD Guidance, to felicitate him.
Namaskar. Assalamu alaikum. Very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Mkn Stalin, Honorable Industries Minister, Excellencies, dignitaries on the dais, the delegation, government delegation of Tamil Nadu, business people, entrepreneurs, Chairman IBPC, I'm truly delighted to be here, and I would like to thank IBPC for organizing this very important investor summit. As we just heard, UAE and India are currently at a historic inflection point in their relationship. The business and investment relationship is going forward at an exponential pace. Both governments are committed to take the pre-COVID trade of $60 billion to $100 billion in the next 5 years. We're also equally committed to facilitating investments of $75 billion from the UAE into India over the same period of time. In this context, the opportunities offered by Tamil Nadu become very critical for UAE investors. And I'm really glad that the UAE investor community is looking very closely at all these opportunities. We heard some of the existing investments which are already taking place in Tamil Nadu and, of course, in India. DP World recently announced a major investment in Tamil Nadu. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome to the Honorable Chief Minister on behalf of the entire Indian community living here in Dubai and the Northern Emirates. It means a lot for us, sir. Really grateful to you for sparing your time and being with us. It means a lot for the community. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Indian community here in Dubai and the Northern Emirates for the extraordinary support they have been providing to the India-UAE relationship. And in the words of Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, they are truly the living bridge which connects the two countries. At the Expo 2020 Dubai, India has had a significant and emphatic participation. We have one of the largest pavilions, one of the very few countries which will have a permanent legacy pavilion, which signifies the bond between the two countries and the close brotherly relationship between UAE and India. Our pavilion has also been one of the most popular and visited pavilions. We've already received more than 1.6 million visitors. And having the participation of almost 22 states and union territories and 15 ministries and sectors, it has been a very dynamic and very engaging and vibrant platform. We've been able to host over 2,000 G2G, G2B, and B2B meetings at the India Pavilion, which we are very proud of. We've also been able to invite and to showcase the work of close to 750 innovators and startups from India. perhaps the largest number of innovators and startups brought at the Expo 2020 Dubai by any of the 192 participating countries. We have several of the innovators here, several of them from the prestigious institution of IIT Madras are here today, sir, and we are very grateful for that support. With these words, I would like to once again thank everyone to be here, and thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Up next, we have a video about the beautiful state of Tamil Nadu and the bountiful opportunities available for investors. Can we have the video, please?
Tamil Nadu, a land of abundant opportunities, is India's second largest economy and the most urbanized state. With 9% of national share, Tamil Nadu is also a leading state in exports. Good governance, sustainable development, complemented with industry-enabling ecosystem, has made the state the destination of choice for global conglomerates. Tamil Nadu, being one of the top education hubs in India and home to 20% of country's top universities, ensures no dearth of skilled workforce. Venerable culture, tradition, food, monuments make it the place tourists adore. Tamil Nadu today is not only a power surplus state but also emerged as a front runner in renewable energy in India. Ample supply of good quality water meeting the required specifications is readily available for industries. Tamil Nadu leads the nation in terms of industrial land availability, operational special economic zones, strength of workforce, and skilled manpower turnout, ensuring smooth business operations. Extraordinary connectivity with airports, seaports, state-of-the-art railways, extensive roadways, extends support to the vast supply chain network. Tamil Nadu is one of the top 10 automobile hubs in the world and home to India's top auto clusters. The state has more than 1,300 plus factories linked to this sector. Already home to major automobile and auto ancillary companies, Tamil Nadu is now transitioning towards the electric and hybrid mobility segment, leading the nation in electric vehicle revolution by building a robust EV ecosystem. With 11% investment share and 10% of India's total IT and IT-enabled service exports, Tamil Nadu is one of the largest IT hubs in India. With global companies leveraging the well-developed manufacturing ecosystem, Tamil Nadu has emerged as one of the major electronics hardware manufacturing and exporting states in India. Often called as Yarn Bowl of India, Tamil Nadu makes an overwhelming contribution to the creative economy. It is not just the largest contributor to the Indian textile industry, but also universally recognized for its craftsmanship and uniqueness. Leading the nation with 60% of finished leather production, Tamil Nadu contributes about 36% in the total export of finished leather, leather products and footwear from India. Tamil Nadu offers industry-friendly policies, supporting businesses to grow and flourish. Guidance, your partner in progress, is India's oldest and Tamil Nadu government's nodal agency for investment promotion and single window facilitation, is there for you on every step.
Up next, I'd like to invite Mr. Krishnan, Additional Chief Secretary, Industries Department, to share his presentation.
Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கும் Honorable Industries Minister, மாண்புமிகு தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கும், Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman IBPC Dubai, His Excellency Jamal Saif Al Jarwan, Secretary General of the UAE International Investors Council, Consul General of India to Dubai, Mr. Aman Puri, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Chairman and Managing Director of the Lulu Group International, my colleagues in the Indian delegation, and above all the investors present here this afternoon. You've had a glimpse of what Tamil Nadu offers, and I'd like to take you through another quick presentation on the further strengths of the state. At the outset, we came with great expectations and hopes, particularly participating in the concluding week of the World International Expo, and at the same time with the deep links between India and the UAE. And we are very gratified to hear from the Secretary General of the UAE International Investment Council that they would be leading a delegation to Tamil Nadu very soon. We would welcome the delegation heartily and take it forward. As has already been pointed out, India's improved business rankings across the world make it a very significant investment destination. And within India, Tamil Nadu is probably one of the fastest growing states. India happens to be one of the fastest growing economies globally, and Tamil Nadu is one of the fastest growing states within India. And India and the United Arab Emirates, the comprehensive economic partnership agreement actually presents a significant opportunity, not just to expand trade relationship, but investment relationships as well in both ways. The CEPA will of course no doubt increase the trade, and we expect strongly that it will increase the investment relationships. Tamil Nadu also happens to be one of the most globalized state-level economies in India in terms of the proportion of exports and imports from the state, and therefore the tie between the United Arab Emirates and Tamil Nadu is but natural. The opportunities for investment, I would like to focus on certain specific sectors this afternoon. The general picture is of course available. Food processing is a very critical sector in Tamil Nadu, as is textile and apparel, footwear, and gem and jewelry. Of course, as I mentioned already, it's one of the most desired destinations, primarily, number of factors, primarily because of the quality of the workforce. The quality of the human resources is what sets Tamil Nadu apart. We have the highest gross enrollment ratio in higher education. It's even higher than the United States. In addition, we also have adequate land available right now. We have gathered together an adequate land pool. All the necessary industrial infrastructure and connectivity can be made available very rapidly. We are power surplus right now. The internet cables land at Chennai in the Indian subcontinent, and therefore internet connectivity is one of the strongest. A large number of investors have already found Tamil Nadu as their place of choice. A large number of global Fortune 500 companies are already there. You name them and they are there. And I already mentioned about the infrastructure, railway, road connectivity, 6 airports, 4 of them are international airports with direct flights to different destinations in UAE. On an average, from Chennai itself, there are about 15 flights into the UAE and also from across the state. And 4 large commercial seaports. It's already mentioned that DP World, which is a UAE-based company, has one investment going at Chennai port and another one starting very shortly at Thoothukudi port. And that will be an important game changer in the way that the two countries and the two economies would relate. And I mentioned about the availability of a future-ready skilled force in Tamil Nadu. Our overall position in terms of human development index amongst the large states is very, very high. It's the second. A large number of smaller states, of course, are there. But overall workforce and the number of educational institutions which come out of there, both in terms of shop floor level workforce and also the upper end workforce, the higher end workforce in terms of research, development, IT and ITES, Tamil Nadu is parallel. Even if you go to neighboring states, about 30% of the workforce is derived from Tamil Nadu. And I'm sure you've seen the quality of the workforce derived from Tamil Nadu here itself in the UAE. The key opportunities, one of course, is the petrochemical and chemical ecosystem where the Gulf states are well entrenched and they are well aware. We have a number of chemical factories which are linked both to the organic sector and the inorganic sector. And in the organic sector and petrochemical linked industries, we are expecting significant further growth and development because of the newer investments that are about to be grounded in the state. Chennai Petroleum Corporation is already building a petrochemical complex at a place called Nagapattinam along the coast of Chennai. Haldia Petrochemicals is about to commence the construction of a petrochemical complex near Kadalur, also along the coast. And the Al Kharafi group from Kuwait is planning an investment at Thoothukudi. So there are going to be 3 major petrochemical complexes which will lead to a lot of major players from the petrochemical sector coming in, and Dubai and the Middle East being the epicenter of the petrochemical industry, we would expect that many of them would evince interest in that area. Food processing is the other big sector. It's often an unspoken of sector in Tamil Nadu. One of the remarkable transformations which has taken place in the last 5 years or so is the increasing share of livestock-linked production, poultry, milk, dairy products, egg, and so on, compared to the overall even crop husbandry production. Today, the livestock-linked production in Tamil Nadu is larger. The value is larger than crop husbandry-linked production. And I think it presents an unparalleled opportunity of establishing units which can process a lot of that food and for supply into across the world, including into the Gulf region. Whether it is fisheries, marine products, whether it is poultry and egg-related products, whether it is grain-related products, a whole range of food processing opportunities present themselves. And given the fact that they can be established close to the coast, it's easy to ship from there into the efficient ports here in the UAE. Likewise, a number of companies are already established there. Britannia, Tata Consumer Products, ITC, leading players in India. Similarly, Lotte, the Korean player, they're all there. And we are establishing a number of mega food parks across the state which would enable this to happen. 3 are already under construction and the remaining will be coming up in the next few years. And this is certainly a huge opportunity for investment for UAE companies. The textile ecosystem was already mentioned in the presentation as to how extensive it is and how critical it is to the overall global supply chain linkage. Companies from Tamil Nadu are part of the global supply chain of textiles, both in the United States and across Europe, and they could very much be part of what happens here in the UAE as well. And this is an area where I think the investment would yield quick returns for anybody who gets into this. Many of the top brands, as you can see, all the branded textiles are sourced out of Tamil Nadu. The new areas which are coming up, especially are technical textiles. In the pandemic, companies from Tamil Nadu were able to supply a range of protective PPE kits, primarily based on the inherent strength. At very short notice, they were able to put that up very rapidly. Renewable energy. If you looked at the renewable energy capacity in Tamil Nadu, it's the 5th highest globally already as a state, not just counting what happens in the rest of India. And it's clearly the largest in India. Both the capacity in terms of wind energy, where we are an early starter, and there is a substantial opportunity in terms of re-energizing existing wind fields to increase the total capacity of wind, and also in solar energy, where solar insolation in some parts of Tamil Nadu is amongst the highest. And the entire ecosystem of renewable energy, both in terms of manufacture of wind turbines or solar cells, solar photovoltaic batteries, is coming up in Tamil Nadu substantially. So this is, again, a significant investment opportunity in the state which can take it really forward. Then, as I mentioned already, the wind and solar farms, the possibility of setting hybrid power plants, the possibility of linking it to desalination, all these are important opportunities. Desalination of water is an important linkage between what happens here in the UAE and what we have in Tamil Nadu. The largest desal plants for drinking water supply in India are based out of Tamil Nadu and more under commissioning. And this is another area where we can mutually learn from each other. And many large companies are already engaged there, and there is, of course, room for many more to come in. What was already mentioned in terms of industrial parks and clusters, we have the largest extent of industrial service land which is currently available. But we realize that investors' demand for service land keeps increasing, and the quality of what they want in terms of plug-and-play facilities also keeps going up. We have a number of investors who come to us and say, a few years ago they would say, we'd be happy if we can start production in 12 months' time. And many of them did it simply because of what the state was able to facilitate. Very large factories were set up in 10 to 11 months in Tamil Nadu. But now they want to beat that record and say, we want to start production in 3 months' time. So can you create a situation of plug-and-play facilities? Can you create a situation where a new factory could be built to us within that time span? And this is where I think a number of private operators who develop industrial estate ecosystems can also collaborate with us to make this a reality. So it represents both an investment opportunity in itself and the opportunity to bring in fresh investment where factory operators or manufacturers require this facility on an urgent basis. And it's a range of investments. It could be a fabric making unit, it could be an electronic hardware manufacturing unit. A number of them are requiring this of us, and our state industrial promotion agency, the SIPCOT, has industrial land which they could share on a joint venture basis to enable the development of plug-and-play facilities. We have industrial parks and clusters spread out all over the state. And that's the other remarkable feature of Tamil Nadu. Unlike many other states in India, the geographic spread of development to different regions of the state. Chennai, which is a state's capital in the northern end, is probably the most industrial part. The Hosur-Bargur industrial belt, which adjoins the neighboring state of Karnataka and near Bengaluru, has another big concentration of industries. The western belt of Tamil Nadu, which comprises Coimbatore and Erode, is again an extremely strong homegrown industrial belt. And likewise in the southern states, in the southern parts of the state, particularly around Thoothukudi, where the mega furniture park is also being established, represents another strong industrial base. This geographical spread ensures that human resources and other infrastructure is easily available at all of these locations. And you have ports spread throughout, all along the coast. So which means you have 3 ports next to Chennai. You have the Thoothukudi port, which offers one of the fastest clearances, and with DP World coming in, will even speed up further. So the opportunities are tremendous. Like I already mentioned, the industrial parks and clusters will be a critical area where there could be considerable investment in that area. There are some companies from this part of the world who are engaged there already, and we welcome more of you to come in to establish as a real estate play industrial parks, clusters, and so on. Likewise, the retail ecosystem in Tamil Nadu is one of the best developed across India and rapidly growing, modern retailing. And this is an area where a number of players can invest further. It is an area where within the overall regulatory framework, it should be possible to establish retail links which will give you an adequate foothold and also ensure that there's substantial local sourcing, primarily because the economy of the state from a manufacturing and agro-processing perspective is very, very diversified. I've already mentioned, there's again, the construction opportunity in terms of the malls and the convenience because of the preference for modern retail in the state. It's one of the preferred destinations for many companies from within India as well. Then as far as fintech and IT and ITES is concerned, we are a leading state and we have a fintech policy which intends to make Tamil Nadu the leading destination for fintech investments, because we are virtually today the back office for all financial operations for major banks and major financial institutions of the world. This is an opportunity which can expand significantly further. It forms two parts. There's one, the human resource part, of which Tamil Nadu abounds in, and you can find adequate people whom you can employ. The second part is quality real estate and quality office space development, which is something which Tamil Nadu can easily do in a significant way. The data centers are the newest field which are developing significantly there, primarily because of the two undersea internet cables which land at Chennai. It's a huge opportunity that can come in that area. Similarly, the global capacity centers, if there is one place in India or any one place in the world where you can upscale the operations from BPO to global capacity centers, it's Tamil Nadu, simply because of the quality of the human resources which are available there. So that is clearly something which can happen. And similarly, R&D centers, research and development centers, are an area where we can significantly expand. A large number of these R&D centers are already there, and more of them can come into that space. The EV ecosystem, I would fail if I didn't mention it. It's a completely emerging area. More than 1/3 of the total EV investments which are taking place and production of two-wheelers, EV two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and cars, and eventually even buses. You very often see Ashok Leyland buses here in Dubai as well, and Ashok Leyland's home base in India is Tamil Nadu. And we are expecting that they will make their investment on the EV buses as well in Tamil Nadu very shortly. And that will be a significant add-on to that investment. But both to supply those kind of vehicles into the UAE, EV vehicles into the UAE, and to expand the capacity there, there's a significant investment opportunity which can be taken advantage of straight away. Equally, battery manufacturing, lithium-ion battery manufacturing, there's a very attractive production-linked incentive scheme which has been declared by the Government of India. Those who have won on that production-linked incentive scheme are already in talks with us to make their investments in Tamil Nadu. And there would be many others, simply because they perceive that there is a large market, many others who want to make the investment there. So this again, both as an investor in an emerging sector, just as a financial investor, or as a real operating investor, there's a huge opportunity of making investments in this growth center. We have the Industrial Guidance Bureau, which is, in a sense, organizing even this event. We handhold and facilitate every investment that comes into Tamil Nadu end to end, from the time that you walk into the state for the first time, till the time that you actually start production, and even later, whatever little headaches that you may have from time to time, they are the ones who resolve. And Tamil Nadu is one state, I can assure you, which is determined. I mean, since we already have a large base of investors from across the world, we are a state which is determined to ensure that rather than us speaking for investment opportunities in the state, it is the investors who are already there who speak up for the state in terms of the manner in which we take care of their interests, manner in which we ensure that their issues are resolved in a speedy and timely fashion, and the manner in which they get their treatment there. And I can assure you that practically every investor who's come into Tamil Nadu has run a profitable business and has been able to take back their profits, and oftentimes not just take back their profits, but reinvest it in further expanding their businesses there. We've always had them come back for second investments and third investments, and I'm sure if you ever walk into Tamil Nadu, you will stay there for a lifetime and for several generations and expand your investments there. I welcome you to join us in the story of investing in Tamil Nadu and both growing prosperous yourself and helping the state of Tamil Nadu grow prosperous as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, we will witness a few companies sign the MOU to invest in the state of Tamil Nadu. To begin with, Noble Group of companies plans to set up units for steel pipes and precision tubes for automobile industries at an investment of 1,000 crores and an employment potential of 1,000 people. May I request Ms. Pooja Kulkarni, MD Guidance, to exchange the MOU. I also request Mr. Mohammad Ashraf Shaul Hamid, Founder and Managing Director, Noble Groups, and Mr. Rajesh, CFO, Noble Groups, to sign the MOU. Up next, White House proposes to set up integrated sewing plants and processing units at an investment of 500 crores, employing 3,000 people. Mr. A. Mohammed Ilyas, partner of White House, will sign the MOU. I kindly request you, sir. Next, Transworld Group proposes to invest 100 crores with an employment potential of 1,000 employees. May I now request Mr. Ramesh S. Ramakrishnan, Chairman, Transworld Group, to sign the MOU. Thank you. Thank you. Up next, I'd like to invite Mr. Yusuf Ali M.A., Chairman and Managing Director, Lulu Group International, to address the gathering.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Industries Minister, my brother, His Excellency Al-Jarwan, Jamal Saif Al-Jarwan, my friend, brother Suresh Kumar, Chairman, Indian Business Professional Council, Honorable Consul General, dignitaries, officials from Tamil Nadu government, friends, brothers and sisters. Today, we are proud and privileged that Thiru Mkn Stalin, the dynamic Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and the members of accompanying delegation are here with us. As we all know, one of the necessities to attract the investments in the state, we need state-of-art infrastructure. Tamil Nadu is providing this quality infrastructure with benchmark of global standards for attracting industrial investments, which we saw now our Chief Secretary now presented. Under the able leadership of Honorable Chief Minister, Tamil Nadu is today one of the most favorable destinations for business and investments in India. I'm very happy to inform you that day after tomorrow, Lulu Group is signing an MOU with the government of Tamil Nadu for an investment of 3,500 crores to open 2 shopping malls. One shopping mall, which additional Chief Secretary mentioned about the shopping mall, 2 shopping malls, and 100% export oriented food processing unit in Tamil Nadu. We are going to sign day after tomorrow in Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which Honorable Chief Minister is visiting. We are confident, and our team from India is here. Our Director India, Mr. Anand Ram here, and Mr. Ranjit here, and Mr. Mahesh here. So we told them to come and we will interact with our secretaries to further expedite immediately to finalize the projects. And we are very happy our CEO and COO are also here for the food processing units. Thank you for your presence. So the employment generation will be 5,500 people. Our employment, one shopping mall, 5,000 people is working in our Cochin shopping mall, 5,600 people, and in our Trivandrum shopping mall is about 6,000, and in Lucknow, about 5,200 people. So we can give easily employment to 5,500 people in the state of Tamil Nadu, and I assure you that we will start construction very fast. Tamil Nadu is the neighboring state of my home state, Kerala. The culture, the geographical features, and even the way of dressing in both the states are the same, dhoti and shirt. This is our traditional dress. And the people of Tamil Nadu prefer to wear dhoti and shirt. That much is our attachment. For the past several years, our group has garment export unit in Tirupur, and we are exporting about 200 to 50 to 300 crores of export from Tamil Nadu. Honorable CM of Tamil Nadu, along with the delegation, arrived UAE day before yesterday, met dignitaries, including His Highness Sheikh Nahyan, and it's a very, very interesting meeting, very prosperous meeting. So, thank you very much for giving an opportunity to say a few words, and thank you very much for visiting UAE, Honorable Chief Minister, and day after tomorrow in Abu Dhabi also, a lot of programs for Chief Minister. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Industries Minister, Mr. Thangam Tennarasu Avargal, to address the gathering.
Honorable Chief Minister, உலகத் தமிழர்களுடைய ஒப்பற்ற தனிப்பெருந்தலைவராக இருக்கக்கூடிய எங்களுடைய மாண்புமிகு முதலமைச்சர் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய அருமை அண்ணன் தளபதி அவர்களே, Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman IBC, Dubai, founder and mentor Tricolor's Value Group, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Chairman and Managing Director, Lulu Group of International, His Excellency, Mr. Jamai Saif Al Jawan, Secretary General, the UAE International Investors Council, Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Tamil Nadu Industries Department, Mr. Krishnan, respected secretaries to the Chief Minister, Dr. Aman Puri, Consul General of India, Dubai, Secretary to Government of Tamil Nadu MSME Department through Arun Roy, MD and CEO of Guidance, Mrs. Pooja Kulkarni, distinguished guests on and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I am very happy to be present here today to speak to this eminent gathering of captains of industries and trade on Tamil Nadu, which is also home to some of the gathering here. I'm rather honored. I would also like to mention, and it is pertinent to mention here, that this is the first ever foreign trip our Chief Minister is making after he took over office in May 2021. And in this trip, our Chief Minister has really made a very, very significant present. In fact, the MOUs, he is now in the process of, he is witnessing it. A lot many MOUs are being signed. In your presence, there are 3 MOUs signed today, and 2 more are waiting to be signed in the evening, and 1 more is to be signed in Dubai. So put together, it is about 6 MOUs to be signed during his visit to UAE. And the total investment that our Chief Minister's trip would attract is to the tune of around 6,100 crores. That is a remarkable achievement of the Chief Minister. I am very glad to share this information with you. Tamil Nadu, as you all know, is a very strong economy. It is the second largest economy in India, accounting for 9.8 of India's GDP, or you can say in terms of US dollars, it is USD 265 billion. I would not like to go into the details. Mr. Krishnan has already given a detailed presentation on the position of Tamil Nadu and the industrial climate of Tamil Nadu. You all must be aware after the presentation that Tamil Nadu is really poised for a giant leap, and it is illustrious industrial growth. But our leader is not complacent, and he is not content with what we have achieved. He is always a go-getter, and he is not always satisfied with the status quo. The Honorable Chief Minister has indeed set up an ambitious target of Tamil Nadu for a $1 trillion economy by 2030. That is an ambitious target he has set up for us. So towards the end of this end, the Tamil Nadu state will endeavor to attract investment of around $320 billion and create an employment of 46 lakhs people. Further, the government of Tamil Nadu shall strive to support the growth of manufacturing sector in the state from $48.1 billion in 2021 to $236 billion in 2030-31. Ladies and gentlemen, with the implementation of UAE-India Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreements, CEPA, we hope that the trade between UAE and Tamil Nadu will further flourish by improving mutual access to markets and enhances investment opportunities. As Mr. Krishnan has already mentioned, the Honorable Chief Minister has laid the foundation stone for the International Furniture Park during an investment conclave, something like this held recently in March 2022, spread over 1,156 acres across 2 phases. This park is expected to foster a global manufacturing competitiveness. The furniture park is expected to attract investment of rupees 5,000 to 6,300 crores and generate an employment for 4.1 to 5 lakh people. This government has a vision to create a knowledge economy by further developing the skilled human resources of the state. As part of this vision, a knowledge city will be developed through the international collaboration. This city will have branches of world-renowned universities with research and development hubs, skill training centers, and knowledge-based enterprises. Further, universities in the state will be encouraged to set up research parks on their campuses in collaboration with public sector entities like TIDCO, SIPCOT, and TANSITCO. An iconic state startup hub center with all facilities will be established by the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, TIDCO, at Nandambakam, Chennai, at an estimated cost of rupees 75 crores. Furthermore, in order to support the startups based in Tamil Nadu, Government of Tamil Nadu and government departments and public sector undertakings will be allowed to do a direct procurement of innovative manufactured product up to 50 lakhs. This is a few points which we would like to add in addition to what our Secretary has dealt in detail. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I take this opportunity to thank you very much for having us over here, and we are delighted by the hospitality provided to us during our visit. We would like to reciprocate the same and would like all of you to come to invest in Tamil Nadu and be part of the $1 trillion plan of our Chief Minister. நீங்கள் அனைவரும் தமிழ்நாட்டிற்கு வர வேண்டும், தமிழ்நாட்டிலே முதலீடுகளை செய்ய வேண்டும். தமிழ்நாடை இந்தியாவில் மட்டுமல்ல, தென்கிழக்காசியாவிலேயே ஒரு சிறந்த முதலீடுகளுக்கான முதன்மை மாநிலமாக உருவாக்கக்கூடிய மாண்புமிகு முதலமைச்சருடைய திட்டத்தில் நீங்கள் இணைய வேண்டும் என்று உங்களை எல்லாம் நான் அன்போடு கேட்டுக்கொள்வேன். Our Chief Minister's dream is to make Tamil Nadu the most preferred destination, not only in India, but also in the entire Southeast Asia. So as part of this plan, I request the investors from UAE also to join the efforts of our Chief Minister, and I welcome you on behalf of the Industries Department to come and invest in Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. At this juncture, I'd like to attribute this powerful quote to none other than the most charismatic and action-oriented Chief Minister that the state of Tamil Nadu has ever had, our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Mkn Stalin avargal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that we all have been waiting for, and without further ado, may I kindly invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Mkn Stalin avargal, to address the gathering.
Vanakkam. Vanakkam, Dubai. Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman IPPC Dubai, founder and mentor Tricolor, Values Group. Mr. Yusuf Ali, Chairman and Managing Director, Lulu Group International. His Excellency, Mr. Jamal Shaif Al Jabran, Secretary General, the UAE International Investors Council, Dr. Aman Puri, Council General, Dubai, Honorable Tamil Nadu Minister for Industry, Mr. Thangam Thennarasu, Additional Chief Secretary to Government of Tamil Nadu, Industries Department, Mr. S. Krishnan, Arun Rai, MSME Secretary, MD and CEO of Guidance, Bhuja Kulkarni, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. திரைக்கடல் ஓடியும் திரவியம் தேடு என்ற தன்னம்பிக்கை மொழியை ஏற்று துபாய்க்கு குடிபெயர்ந்து இந்த மண்ணையும் வளமாக்கியுள்ள எனது தமிழ் சொந்தங்களே, வெரி குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் டு ஆல். அனைவருக்கும் எனது அன்பார்ந்த வணக்கங்கள். I am very happy to address this great gathering of captains of business, trade and industry. We are committed to develop and strengthen these relations. I am happy and honored to be here. UAE and Tamil Nadu share a long history of rich cultural and trade relations. We are committed to develop and strengthen these relations. ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகளுக்கும் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கும் இடையேயான உறவு முன் எப்போதையும் விட இப்போ வலுவாக வளர்ந்து வருது. தமிழ்நாடு மற்றும் ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகளிடையே பொருளாதார மற்றும் வர்த்தக உறவுகள் மேம்படுத்துறதுல நம்ம எல்லோருக்கும் ஆர்வம் இருக்கு. இந்த அரங்கில் பெரிய அளவில் நீங்கள் இங்கே கூடியிருப்பதற்கு இதுவே சாட்சியாக அமைஞ்சிருக்கு. ஒரு அழகான நகரத்தில் நீங்கள் வசிக்கிறீங்க. துபாய் ரொம்ப அழகான நகரம் மட்டுமல்ல, வர்த்தகம் அதிகம் நடைபெறக்கூடிய நகரமாகவும் அமைந்திருக்கிறது. 50 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு முன்னால் 1 லட்சத்திற்கும் குறைவான மக்கள் மட்டுமே வாழ்ந்து வந்த இந்த துபாய் இன்று உலகமே வியந்து பார்க்கும் நகரமாக வளர்ந்திருக்கு. இன்று நவீன கட்டடக்கலை சாதனைகளுடன் உலகளாவிய வணிக மையமாக மிக பெரும் வளர்ச்சியை கண்டிருக்கு. இந்த வளர்ச்சி கற்பனைகளுக்கெல்லாம் அப்பாற்பட்டது. உங்கள் ஊரின் புகழை நான் சொல்லி நீங்கள் தெரிஞ்சிக்க வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஆனாலும் நான் அறிந்தும் தெரிந்து வைத்திருப்பதை உங்கள் கூட மட்டும் இல்லை, இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை ஊடகங்களில் பார்த்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்களுக்கும் சேர்த்து தான் என்னுடைய உணர்வுகளை நான் இங்கே பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள விரும்புகிறேன். 2617 அடி உயரம் கொண்ட உலகிலேயே உயரமான புர்ஜ் கலிஃபா, செயற்கையாக உருவாக்கப்பட்ட பாம்ஜிமோரா தீவு, 5.5 கிலோமீட்டர் நீளம் கொண்ட உலகிலேயே மிக நீளமான தங்க சங்கிலி, மிகப்பெரிய மால்கள், மிகப்பெரிய மீன் காட்சியகம், மலர் பூங்கா என துபாயிலே பார்க்கும் இடமெல்லாம் பிரமிப்பாகவும் அழகாகவும் இருக்கு. பறக்கும் கார்கள் முதல் தானியங்கி ரயில்கள் வரை உயர் தொழில்நுட்ப போக்குவரத்தில் தலை சிறந்து துபாய் இயங்கிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. துபாயின் அழகை கண்டு ரசிக்க ஆண்டுதோறும் சராசரியாக 17 மில்லியன் சுற்றுப்பயணிகள் எல்லா நாடுகளிலிருந்து வராங்க. தமிழ்நாடு மற்றும் துபாய் இடையே வளர்ந்து வரும் பொருளாதார உறவுகளை மேம்படுத்தத்தான் நான் இப்போ இங்கே வந்திருக்கிறேன். தமிழ்நாட்டில் அதிக முதலீடுகளை செய்யணும்னு உங்களையெல்லாம் கேட்டுக்கொள்ள வேண்டி உங்களை தேடி நாடி நான் வந்திருக்கிறேன். முதலமைச்சராக ஆட்சி பொறுப்பேற்ற பிறகு நான் மேற்கொள்ளக்கூடிய முதலாவது அயல்நாட்டு பயணம் இந்த பயணம்தான், இந்த துபாய் பயணம்தான். இந்த முதல் பயணமும் ஐக்கிய அரபு அமீரகத்தின் துபாய் நகரமாக அமைஞ்சது எனக்கு மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சி. இந்தியாவின் மிகப்பெரிய வர்த்தக பங்குதாரர்களில் ஒன்றாகவும் ஏற்றுமதிகளுக்கான மிகப்பெரிய நுழைவு வாயிலாகவும் துபாய் விளங்கி கொண்டிருக்கிறது. துபாய் மக்கள் ஒழுக்கம், கடின உழைப்பு மற்றும் சட்டத்தை மதிக்கக்கூடிய நற்பெயரை பெற்றவர்கள். அதனால தான் உங்களை நாடி நான் வந்திருக்கிறேன். ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகளில் 4 லட்சத்திற்கும் மேற்பட்டிருக்கக்கூடிய தமிழ் பேசும் மக்கள் பணியாற்றியும் வணிகம் செஞ்சும் வராங்க. தமிழர்களின் உழைப்பு மற்றும் விடாமுயற்சி ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகளின் பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சிக்கு மிகப்பெரிய பங்களிப்பு அளித்து வருவது அனைவரும் அறிந்த உண்மை. எனவே துபாயை வெளிநாடாக நினைக்க முடியாத அளவுக்கு தமிழர்கள் அதிகம் வாழக்கூடிய நாடாகவும் இது இருக்கு. The COVID pandemic has affected economies all over the world. Despite the pandemic, in the last 10 months alone, Tamil Nadu has signed 124 MOUs, attracting investment of $8 billion, creating employment opportunities for nearly 2 lakh persons. Tamil Nadu has registered a positive GDP growth rate of 5.8% in 2020-2021. In contrast, in negative growth in most economies. That clearly shows the faith and confidence that global investors have in Tamil Nadu. Our strength is our human resources. தமிழ்நாடு வணிக மற்றும் வர்த்தக வாய்ப்புகள் நிறைந்த ஒரு மாநிலம். கிட்டத்தட்ட 7.5 கோடி மக்களை கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய மாநிலம். 2030ஆம் ஆண்டுக்குள் தமிழ்நாட்டை $1 டிரில்லியன் அமெரிக்க டாலர் பொருளாதாரமாக மாற்றிடக்கூடிய வகையில் ஒரு தொலைநோக்கு பார்வையோடு நாங்கள் செயல்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அந்த லட்சிய இலக்கை அடையிறதுக்காக தமிழ்நாட்டின் உள்கட்டமைப்புகளை மேம்படுத்துதல், பணியாளர்களுடைய திறனை மேம்படுத்துதல், வருங்கால தொழில் வளர்ச்சியை கருத்தில் கொண்டு பணியாளர்களை தயார்படுத்துதல் போன்ற பல முன்னேற்ற நடவடிக்கைகளை நாங்கள் மேற்கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். இந்த சூழ்நிலையில் நீங்கள் எங்கள் மாநிலத்தில் முதலீடுகளை செய்வதற்கான வாய்ப்புகளும் சாத்தியக்கூறுகளும் ஏராளமாக இருக்கு. வாருங்கள், இதற்கான பயணத்தில் இணைந்து நாம் எல்லோரும் பயனடைவோம் என்று இந்த தருணத்தில் உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் நான் அன்போடு அழைப்பு விடுக்கிறேன். தமிழ்நாட்டின் உட்கட்டமைப்பு மேம்பாடு மற்றும் ரியல் எஸ்டேட் வணிகத்திற்கு மிகப்பெரிய வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்கு. அது மட்டுமா, சுற்றுலாத்துறையிலும் விருந்தோம்பல் துறையிலும் எங்கள் மாநிலத்தில் வாய்ப்புகள் கொட்டி கிடக்கு. வேளாண்மை துறையை பொறுத்தவரையில் குளிர்பதன கிடங்குகள், சேமிப்பு கிடங்குகள் ஆகியவற்றின் சேவை எங்களுக்கு இருக்கு. நிதி நுட்பம் புதுப்பிக்கத்தக்க எரிசக்தி, தகவல் தரவு மையங்கள், வான்வெளி மற்றும் பாதுகாப்பு ஆகிய துறைகளிலும் சிறந்த உட்கட்டமைப்புகளை நாங்கள் உருவாக்கி இருக்கிறோம். மின்னணுவியல் துறையை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் மின் வாகனங்கள், மின்னேற்றி நிலையங்கள் போன்றவற்றில் முதலீடுகள் வரவேற்கப்படுகிறது. புது தொழில்களிலும் புத்தாக்க தொழில்களிலும் முதலீடுகளை வரவேற்கிறோம். மேற்கூறிய துறைகளில் ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகளின் வணிகங்களுக்கு மிகப்பெரிய வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குது. தமிழ்நாட்டின் 2வது பெரிய துறைமுகம் மற்றும் அகில இந்திய அளவில் 3வது பெரிய கொள்ளளவு கொண்ட துறைமுகம் தூத்துக்குடி. இங்கே சர்வதேச அறைகலன் பூங்காவுக்கு ஃபர்னிச்சர் பார்க் சில வாரங்களுக்கு முன்னால் அதற்குரிய அடிக்கல் நான் நாட்டியிருக்கிறேன். இந்தியாவிலே முதலாக தமிழ்நாட்டில் தான் இத்தகைய சர்வதேச அறைகலன் பூங்கா, அதாவது ஃபர்னிச்சர் பார்க் அமைக்கப்பட இருக்கு என்பது குறிப்பிடத்தக்கது. 1150 ஏக்கர் பரப்பளவில் தூத்துக்குடியில் அமைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த பூங்காவில் முதலீடுகளுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் மிக அதிக அளவில் இருக்கு. 70-80 விழுக்காடு மூலப்பொருட்கள் தேவையை அங்கேயே பூர்த்தி செய்கிற வகையில் முழு சூழல் அமைப்பையும் அந்த பூங்காவில் உருவாக்க நாங்கள் திட்டமிட்டிருக்கிறோம். அடிக்கல் நாட்டின அன்னைக்கே அந்த அறைகலன் பூங்காவில் $375 மில்லியன் அளவுக்கு முதலீடுகள் ஈர்க்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. நம்பிக்கையுடன் முதலீடுகளை மேற்கொள்வதற்கான தகுந்த இடம் எங்களது தூத்துக்குடி சர்வதேச அறைகலன் பூங்கா ஃபர்னிச்சர் பார்க். உற்பத்தி சேவைகள் உட்பட பொருளாதாரத்தின் எந்த துறையிலும் முதலீடுகளை ஈர்ப்பதும் தமிழ்நாட்டை உலகளாவிய முதலீட்டு மையமாக மேம்படுத்துவதுதான் எங்களுடைய குறிக்கோள். பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சியினை அதிகரித்து அதன் மூலம் சமூக நலம் பேணுதல் என்கிற நோக்கோடு செயல்பட்டு வரக்கூடிய நாங்கள் எங்கள் முதலீட்டு கோரிக்கைகளை உங்கள் முன் வச்சிருக்கிறோம். ஹுண்டாய், ஃபியூஜோ, BMW, டெய்ம்லர், கேட்டர்பில்லர், அசோக் லேலண்ட், TVS, ரெனால்ட் நிக்சான், ஃபாக்ஸ்கான், டெல்டா, டெல், சால்காம், டாடா எலக்ட்ரானிக்ஸ், சியட், மிக்சேலின், MRF, சாம்சங், கிராண்ட் ஃபோர்ஸ் மற்றும் L&T ஆகிய எண்ணற்ற உலகளாவிய புகழ்பெற்ற நிறுவனங்கள் தங்களது உற்பத்தி திட்டங்களை தமிழ்நாட்டில் அமைச்சிருக்கு. மேலும் 75க்கும் மேற்பட்ட ஃபார்ச்சூன் 500 நிறுவனங்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டில் அமைஞ்சிருக்கு. பல்வேறு நாடுகளின் முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மற்றும் தூதரக அதிகாரிகளோடு தொடர்பு கொண்டு முதலீடுகளை ஈர்த்திடுவதற்கு ஏதுவாக கைடன்ஸ் வழிகாட்டி நிறுவனத்தில் நாடு வாரியாக பிரயோஜக அமைப்புகள் ஏற்படுத்தப்பட்டிருக்கு. உள்நாட்டு மற்றும் வெளிநாட்டு முதலீட்டாளர்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு மேலே வச்சிருக்கக்கூடிய நம்பிக்கையை இதன் மூலம் வெளிப்படுத்தி கொண்டிருக்கிறது. தொழில் புரிவதற்கும் முதலீடுகள் மேற்கொள்வதற்குமான அழைப்புகளுக்கு எங்கள் கதவுகள் எப்பொழுதும் திறந்திருக்கும். உலக தரத்திலான உள்கட்டமைப்பு வசதிகள் மற்றும் வணிக சூழல் அமைப்பினை தொடர்ந்து மேம்படுத்த முயற்சி எடுத்துக்கிட்டு வரோம். எல்லா தரவரிசைகளிலும் தமிழ்நாடு முன்னேறி வருகிறது. மாநிலம் முழுவதும் உள்ள பெரும் தொழிலதிபர்கள் மற்றும் தொழில் முனைவோரின் சான்றுகளிலும் அது வெளிப்படுது. Independent surveys have validated Tamil Nadu's position as a leading state in good governance, economic growth, social and public health indicators. They also prove our vision of bringing inclusive growth. தமிழ்நாடு மற்றும் துபாய் இடையான பொருளாதார மற்றும் உணர்வுபூர்வமான பிணைப்புகள் ஏற்கனவே வலுவாக இருக்கு. இதை மேலும் வலுப்படுத்துவதற்கான சாத்தியக்கூறுகள் பெருமளவில் இருக்கு என்பதை இங்கு நான் மீண்டும் உங்களுக்கு தெரிவிக்க விரும்புகிறேன். வாய்ப்புகள் ஏராளமாக உள்ள மாநிலம் தமிழ்நாடு என்பது உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். எங்கள் வளர்ச்சிக்கு வித்திடுவது உங்கள் வளர்ச்சிக்கும் துணை புரியணும்னு நான் உறுதியளிக்கிறேன். எங்கள் வளர்ச்சியிலும் பங்கேற்று நீங்களும் பயனடைந்திடுமாறு மீண்டும் நான் உங்களுக்கு அன்புடன் அழைப்பு விடுக்கிறேன். வாருங்கள், இணைந்து பயணிப்போம், இணைந்து வளர்ச்சி பெறுவோம். Once again, I take this opportunity to invite you to Tamil Nadu to engage in a partnership of investment, innovation, growth and prosperity. I wish you all success in your endeavors. Nandri, vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to invite Mr. Ramesh Kumar, Chairman IBPC Dubai, and the Board of IBPC to present a memento to our Honorable Chief Minister. May I now invite Ms. Pooja Kulkarni, MD Guidance, to propose the vote of thanks.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இன்று நடைபெற்ற இந்த சிறப்பு துபாய் முதலீட்டாளர்களின் மாநாட்டுக்கு தலைமையேற்றிய மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கும் சிறப்புரையாற்றிய மாண்புமிகு தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கும் எமது மனமார்ந்த நன்றியினை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். I thank the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for presiding over the special investors meet at Dubai. I also thank the Honorable Industries Minister for his special address and guidance. It's my privilege to thank the dignitaries on the dais for their gracious presence. His Excellency Yusuf Ali, Chairman and Managing Director, Lulu Group, His Excellency Mr. Jamal Saif Al Jarwan, Secretary General of the UAE International Investors Council, Mr. Suresh Kumar, Chairman IBPC Dubai, founder and mentor of the Tricolor Values Group. Thank you, sirs. I would also like to thank Dr. Aman Puri, Consul General Dubai. The consulate has facilitated our participation in the expo and in organizing various events in Dubai. Thank you, Aman. My heartfelt thanks to the diplomats, captains of industry, business associations, and esteemed guests who are here, present here, and have made this event a success. Tamil Nadu is, of course, globally renowned for its manufacturing prowess. The opportunities abound in Tamil Nadu. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to invest in the state on behalf of Guidance. I assure you that we will handhold and facilitate your investments from the point of entry to grounding your investment and ensuring that we grow and prosper together in a fruitful partnership. I would also like to thank the Additional Chief Secretary, Industries Department, and Secretary MSME. A special thanks to IBPC for their unstinting support in organizing this event and all other events here also. I would also like to thank CII for helping us organizing this event and meetings with CEOs. Thanks to my colleagues in Guidance who have worked round the clock to make this event a success. I thank members of the media for their coverage. Thanks all of you for making this event successful. And once again, it's my pleasure to welcome you to invest in Tamil Nadu. Thank you all. Nandri, Vanakkam.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that we have come to the end of the conference, I kindly request the guests and the dignitaries to rise up for the Indian and the UAE national anthem.
Janagana mana adinayaka jaya he Bharat bhagya vidata Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravido, Kalabanga, Vindhya, Himachala, Yamuna, Ganga, Uchchala, Jaladi, Taranga. Tava Shubha Name Jage, Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage, Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha. जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे